Again, thanks everyone for being here. Always exciting time. When we can add some young men. This is, recruiting is definitely a group effort. Not only myself, but the entire staff. A lot of people to sit there and thank. First and foremost, I'd like to thank all the deans and professors who take time out of their busy schedule on Saturday to meet with our families. The two restaurants that we really kind of use, which is BW3's and Laziza's, their staff. We go out, we did a couple years ago, we started a neat thing. Friday night, we take the families and the kids out bowling, and we take them over to Twin Star Lanes, and it kind of breaks the ice a little bit on the weekend of trying to make the weekend a little bit relaxing for the parents and the kids, and it's really been a positive thing that a lot of feedback that we get to kind of kick off the weekend. So definitely like to thank them. Everyone at Kent Hotel and Conference Center and their staff and all those groups that I just mentioned are, that groups that do a really good job to go far and beyond to make our recruits and our families really comfortable and really, experience all about what Kent State is about. Our players do a great job. They're probably our best recruiters once we get the kids on campus and what they're selling, and the kids get to get around them with no coaches around, so they actually get to spend some time with those guys and really ask them real questions. And we spend a lot of time with our players, around the parents, so they can really ask them what we call real questions and not just get the car salesman pitch, that we're selling as coaches. So our players do a good job. Last and not least, our support staff and our coaching staff do an unbelievable job. Again, we got our academic people who take the time out of their Saturdays to come spend time with our recruits and our families. Our coaching staff spends countless hours scouring, the country to find OKG, our kind of guys. And we do recruiting a little bit different. We don't throw 200 offers out there. We really take our time to get to know the young men before we throw offers out there. We like to meet them. We like to, meet their parents to make sure that they're fit into the vision, that we want to make sure that we're building here. So there's a lot of people to sit there, and thank, and they do an unbelievable job for us to not just sell this program, but to sell Kent State and what Kent State, is all about. And we want to make sure that we continue to do our part and to make sure that we get young men in here to buy into what we are doing. Kind of some highlights of this class. We got 16 guys committed. 15 of them were high school captains. 3.0 GPA with a 20 ACT. Again, going along with what ours, we're going to have academically motivated kids, here to fit into our academic mode at Kent State. And we know that our football players are in the same classes as the rest of the student body, so we want to make sure that we do a good job of recruiting very good students. We scoured the country, 7 different states this class kind of represents. 10 of them were all-state selection. The one thing that we did, I think our staff did a really good job of this year, is also multi-sport guys. Out of the 16 commits, 15 of them played other sports. Anywhere from wrestling to basketball, a lot of wrestling, a lot of basketball, players, and that's rare, these days. And it kind of just shows their commitment, not only to their school, but also that they can do a couple different things. And also 5 academic honor recipients. Again, going into that mode of fitting into what we are doing here at Kent State as a whole, of making sure that we recruit definitely what they're called student athletes and not just guys who just want to play football. So very, very pleased with the class. Kind of starting off with what we needed, what we wanted to go into the class with. Our first really 2 classes, I kind of say, the first year when I was hired, that was kind of a tween class between Hazel and myself. So really the first 2 classes after that, we wanted to build depth up front. So we spend a lot of time, and you look at our classes, we have 5 or 6 up front offensive line guys. Now we can actually focus a little bit more on some skill positions, and you look at, you know, a lot of the positions, we only took 4 guys up front, and that's all for really 5 guys, offense and defense, and the rest of the guys are all skilled position guys. So we upgraded our skill position needs that we felt that we needed. You look at wide out, we recruited 3 wide outs, and you know, everybody goes into the class and say you want fast guys. Well, the thing that we made sure that we do is what is fast. And the only way that I can measure fast is if you go off of track times. And all these guys are 100-meter guys, all these guys are 200-meter guys, all these guys are 10-7 plus guys. So they can run. Mike Kerrigan, which I'll talk about a little bit later, you guys have seen Antoine Dixon run, and him and Antoine Dixon went back and forth in the state of Florida in the 100-meter dash last year. So definitely guys, and we made sure that we went out and we said, okay, let's make sure that we have legit track times on these guys and not just say that everybody runs 4.4 and 4.5. I mean, every kid in America runs 4.4 and 4.5. So, but let's really make sure that we do a legit job with tracking the track time. So we filled our need in that kind of spot. Of course, we're going to take a quarterback in every class. It's good that we got our quarterback here already on campus, and Justin Agner. Justin's a kid from Georgia. Georgia has been good to us here in the last couple years with not only just recruiting, but the guys who are being productive on our football team. We're doing a really good job in Georgia. So, but Justin Agner is here on campus. I can tell you guys he is a worker. There's not a day that he is not in the office spending time on football. He loves football. He is a film rat. He is a football junkie. So, and brings a lot of leadership. Of course, he came out of high school in Woodstock and went to Air Force Academy, so he's not like a true freshman. Has a little bit of experience on some of the college life, but again, that's a whole different type of lifestyle, you know, at the Air Force. So he brings a lot of leadership. And then at running back, Justin Rankin is already here on campus from Elyria Catholic. Again, tough, hard-nosed kid that can run. You know, the thing I like about him is he's been through some adversity in his life, brings a little bit of toughness, you know, to the program. And that's the one thing that I always we hang our hat on, that if you want a tough football team, recruit tough players. There's no such thing as, you know, banging them and making them tough. So we want to make sure that we ask those tough questions, and Justin kind of fits that mold for us. So I'll kind of open it up for questions. Hopefully through this, I'll go through every single guy, but just kind of make sure I get you guys questions. We're official.
Just hit real quick, a little bit more specific on your playmakers, you know, and speed. You've been talking about that for a couple of years. How fast can these guys actually hit the field for you think?
You ask me that question every year. and this is the thing, and this is to me the beauty of recruiting, is that's the fun part about recruiting, is to see. We recruit every kid, and we never sit there and say, hey, we're going to redshirt you in your junior year, we want you to play. We recruit every kid with the kind of the aspirations to come in and play. I tell the kids, I tell the parents, we don't set the depth chart, they do. So whatever they do and whatever they can do while they're here is what they can do. But I've seen it both ways, to be honest with you, is we hype up a kid, he doesn't pan out, and then I'm sitting here answering where I thought you said he was coming in and help. So I don't like to put kids in that situation. I think they have all of our skill position guys. I think we're in the place right now that defensively, I don't know if these guys are needed as much, you know, in year one, because we have great depth defensively in a lot of different positions. We did go after 2 corners and 2 safeties because that's where we felt we needed our depth. And then you can always, you know, with the pounding and banging that our inside guys always take, we're always going to take 1 or 2 of those inside guys defensively. There's no secret. We have to get better offensively with our skill. It's amazing when you watch college football and everybody talks about scheme and they're throwing the ball 5 yards and the guy goes 80 and it's a great play call. So that's what we wanted to make sure that we do, is we wanted to get guys that could go 80, that we could throw a short pass to, and they have the opportunity to go the distance. So when I sit there and say, I'm not going off of 4.5 and 4.4, I'm going off of track times. So it's 10.7, 10.6. I think that's pretty fast. So, and they're football players. They're just not track guys. So that's what I mean. Mike Kerrigan is a kid from Gabi that, again, we've got a couple kids from Gabi High School that have been kind of really good to us, and Jim Jones and P.J. Simmons. And we kind of expect the same thing out of Mike. Again, he is a kid that you know can really run. And going into the recruiting, we sat there and we said, do we think Antoine Dixon is fast? And everybody said, yeah. Well, he beat Antoine in high school, so the kid can run. And he's a little bit taller. Catavius Price is a kid from Manatee High School, and it really went down to the wire with Catavius. He was getting phone calls up until midnight last night. He got phone calls at 5 o'clock this morning trying to get him to change his mind, and we really, really are pleased with Catavius that he stayed true to his guns, because it was, so-called bigger places, that was calling him last night. But another kid that is a small kid, and of course every time they look at his size, they're going to sit there and say, is he Dree Archer? Well, again, there's only one Dree Archer. And I don't want to put that pressure on him. Is he Dree Archer-like? Yes, he is. When you watch the film, he's very shifty. Again, another kid who has a goal to run a 10.4 this year. He has ran a 10.6, 10.65, 10.7 100-meter dash. So a guy who, again, is legitimately fast but small. And when we talk about small, the one thing that we do as a staff, there's a difference from short and small. They can still be short, they just can't be small. They can't, and he's 160, 165 pounds, but he's put together, and he's a strong kid. So we want to make sure that we just don't recruit short, super skinny kids that can't last in Division I college football. And he's not one of those type of kids. And then Trey Harrell is a receiver from Louisiana, which we continue to do well in Louisiana recruiting. And again, not just getting guys, but guys who are very productive, on our football team. And he's not a burner type, but when you watch the film on Trey, he's probably the best natural wide receiver that we got. He's probably got the best hands out of the group of 3 wide receivers that we got. Again, Rankin, when you watch him on film, tough, hard-nosed kid. Again, can run power, can run zone, can run jet sweep, type stuff. That is a tough, hard-nosed kid.
How important was it to find Agner as a quarterback that can come in early? And I know you've said that the position's wide open, so you get a guy to come in the spring and can kind of get a nice start to be real competitive come next fall.
Yeah, it's definitely a plus, and we didn't go into it with that. We kind of came about. We had a couple kids that we were trying to get as early commitments, early enrollee guys that we tried to look at, but that's not, this day and age, that doesn't happen a whole lot more with the NCAA requirements anymore. So it is definitely a plus that a guy, and I'm telling you, the kid is unbelievable, a football rat. I mean, I hope he does well, and I know he's going to do well academically, but, he is in there all the time. And when he's not doing academics, he is over there studying. And I think after the first week of school, you got him up on the board, and he knew a lot of the past concepts already. And that's how much time he's spending in the football and how much of a competitor that he is.
You take the kids bowling.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the kids that are already here on campus, or the kids when they come for visits, or what is? Could you just clear that up a little bit?
I'm sorry. It's kids that come on their visit. Everywhere that I've been, that Friday night that the people come on campus, because there are times that's the first time that they've been around a lot of the other coaches. We have our players there also too, kind of, and it's kind of been a cheese and wine operation, of where a lot of other places I've been, and it's real tight, it's real intense. Nobody wants to talk. Everybody wants to make sure they're using the right fork and right spoon and all that type of deal. So it's really kind of breaks the ice for the whole weekend that everybody relaxes and everybody opens up, and you really kind of see, because we're big on relationships. And until you want to build a great relationship, you got to see them outside of the office. And this kind of breaks the ice of really who we are of building those relationships so they can open up and really be who they really are. So it's, you know, some of them can bowl, most of them can't. And they fit right along with us. But it's just a fun kind of icebreaker for the weekend. And it's been super positive on the feedback from all the parents and the recruits that it's just something different from a lot of places that they've been. Let me go through a couple of these. Let me make sure I hit everybody. We talked about Rankin. We talked about Agner. Derek Adams, that was another kind of position that we needed this year. We had to get a punter, of course, with Melky graduating. You know, a lot of times you get the benefit of walk-on punters. We didn't have one in our program. Actually, our backup punter was Nate Holly, you know, this year. So we wanted to make sure that we went out there and recruited a punter, and we did we had 5 or 6. It's probably the first time, you know, that I've had 5 or 6 punters on the board, and we actually recruited, you know, a punter. But Derek is a kid from Lancaster, PA, that does a really good job of hang time, distance. Of course, it's going to take him some time to get, Melky-like, but he does have the ability to make sure that he changes the field for us. Our offensive line, our 2 offensive line guys that we did get, Zach Corgle. Of course, everybody knows the Corgle name around here at Kent State, and he fits that mold. And that's one of the first things that, you know, when you meet Zach, he has that toughness. He's coming from a great program, but he has toughness. And that's the one thing that is not going to be, you know, in anybody's question of this kid's toughness. But, you know, we're again in the position that we got 15 offensive linemen on scholarship now. So do we expect them, or do we need them to come in right away and help us? No, but if they can, then they will. But Zach will bring the toughness, you know, to this program. Adam Gregory is a big kid, and if Adam walked into this room right now, you wouldn't know if he was a high school kid or a kid on our team right now. He is 6'5", 275, from Maslin Perry, which we have another kid, Stefano Millen. Again, Adam brings the toughness that we want in our front and our offensive line. But, you know, for the last couple of years, we brought in kids that are, you know, built ready. And he's a strong kid. He's not a skinny kid. He's 275 that we'll hope to get up to 300 pounds, but he fits that tackle mold and the type of guys that we like to recruit. We talked about the wideouts, Trey Harrell, again, a kid from Louisiana. Again, not a burner kid, but probably the best natural receiver that we have. Mike Kerrigan, again, is a smaller kid, 5'10", 175 from Godby High School. But again, a kid that has a possibility to win the state in the 100 in the state of Florida. He'll be battling Catavius Price. We talked about Catavius, again, Dree-like type kid. Again, that is a fast kid that has the ability to run, you know, in the 10-4, 10-5 range. On the defensive side up front, Akeem Ennis, a kid from Druid Hills. He is a wrestler. He is a heavyweight wrestler kid, and we always kind of try to recruit those type of kids who play with balance, kids who play with their hands and know how to play with their hands. So I believe he placed in the state last year in the state of Georgia in the heavyweight division. Matt Bell is another kid from Georgia, from Peachtree Ridge High School, which is a high school that I've been in a lot in my career. You know, as coaching, and those guys have been, you know, very good players for. They're tough, hard-nosed kids. And Matt kind of fits that bill, you know, of that type also, too. Theo Majette is a defensive end from West Bloomfield, Michigan. And Theo he fits just the mode that we want as that Leo type of position. He's very active. He's fast. He's not a very big kid, but that kind of fits our Leo position of dropping, but also rushing the quarterback. Dalton Hicks is a kid from Delphius Jefferson High School. I kind of have a history with Dalton. His dad actually coached me in Little League football in Columbus, Ohio, and his dad actually played football at Ohio and was also a football wrestling guy. If you go back to anywhere in Gahanna, Ohio, his dad, Doug Hicks, is a legend in the wrestling world in this state of Ohio and in the Columbus area. But Dalton kind of fits that mold of a tough, hard-nosed, throwback, Jack Lambert type linebacker that we definitely want. Mandela Lawrence Burke is a very athletic kid. He starts point guard on their basketball team. And he also played some quarterback, played defensive back for the great Steubenville High School state runner-up. But he is a very athletic kid that, again, and that's kind of the mode that we're trying to recruit kind of in our back end is athletic kids that can cover man-to-man and also not afraid to hit. And that's what Mandela fits that mode. Akeem Peters is from another kid from Georgia, very good high school in Tucker High School. Tucker High School is one of the kind of well-known high schools right there in Atlanta. But Akeem is a kid that was getting very highly recruited, had a lot of big-time offers. He got hurt at the beginning of the season, and we kind of stuck with him. But you talk about a kid who is one of those Power 5 type safeties, that's what he is. He's not very big, but when you watch him on film, he's very physical. Plus, he can also cover in space, and he plays well in space. So we're super, super excited about getting Akeem. Jamal Parker is a corner, 5'10", 170 from New Jersey. Coach Potee had a background, with Jamal, with some friends of the family through his NFL background. Jamal is a true cover corner, type kid, has a lot of talent. Again, another kid who plays basketball, plays point guard for their basketball team that was actually getting recruited by some smaller schools in basketball, so he's very athletic. And then the last kid is Miles Daniels from Oak Park, Michigan. He is, again, as a kid, really Miles can go both ways. And again, he kind of adds the speed factor to it. Miles has a chance to be a 100-meter state champion in the state of Michigan. He is a legit 10-7 100-meter kid, also too. So, again, those are the kids. Very excited about them. I think we fit our needs. We fit what we wanted to going into this class, which was definitely our skill positions. Again, we're always going to recruit academic kids. Again, an average of a 3.0 and a 20. That fits the mode of who we want. Again, tough, academically motivated kids who want to buy into what Kent State is about. I think we did that.
Coach, you mentioned Zach Corrigal. He wore number 79 in high school. You going to let him wear his grandfather's retired jersey?
That's above my pay grade. You know what? And this is the neat thing about Zach and through this recruiting process of Zach, because of course the first thing everybody wants to think of is a kid that you have to take. And we really did our homework with the evaluation of Zach. And it's not like we're only recruited Zach because of his grandpa. Zach's a very good football player, and when you guys get a chance to meet Zach, he's going to tell you exactly what he thinks. I mean, he's just like his grandpa, but he wants to separate from that mode. And that was the one thing that he said. And he looked me straight in my eye and he said, I do not want you to recruit me just because of my grandpa. And we told him, we recruited you off of the film that we saw and the type of person that you are. Now, I did say you got to understand the name on the back of your jersey means a lot around here. So it's a name that you're going to have to live up to. But that's not why we're recruiting. But like I said, that's above my pay grade. That's still retired, and that's up to the powers to be.
He gives you a St. V recruit, and that's somewhere you've been trying to get in. he gives you a St.
I'm sorry?
Vincent St. Mary recruit somewhere you've been trying?
Yes, yes. I've been trying for a while, and that's one of the things that I think our staff does a really good job. When you look at Northeast Ohio and you look at the historically, very good programs, I think we got a kid from every one of those programs. Now, there's some other ones, but you look at historically, we've got probably a kid that represents every one of those Northeast Ohio great programs, and that's one of the things that we take pride in to make sure that we do. Next is I got a couple other areas that are targets for me, but for the most part, we got Northeast Ohio where we're represented.
No junior college kids, did you consider any? Namely, a quarterback as a position that some people thought you might go try to get some quote-unquote immediate help there. No.
And again, I'm in this for the long haul. I'm not a quick fix, type guy. And, other places I've been, they go with the junior college route, and I'm just not into it. I really want something that not just have a guy around here for, a year or two. Just doesn't fit of what we're doing. And I'm not saying that we won't take one, and I'm not saying that we won't take, a fifth-year transfer, type kid, but, we don't hit it very hard. And like I said, I just like the point of having guys for a number of years to make sure that they really fit into what we are doing. I guess personally I've been burned more than just going full sail with just recruiting, junior college kids.
Clarify something for me if you could. We all know that Ohio, Florida, Texas, California, Pennsylvania are well known for high school football.
Yep.
And I know you have 4 kids from Georgia. Is Georgia slowly kind of creeping up the list there? Are they
Yeah, and I think Georgia's
is their
ranked.
reputation increasing?
Well, I think Georgia, and I don't know exactly where they're ranked, but the one thing, I've recruited Georgia for a long time as a position coach, and the amount of schools down there and the amount of talent down there, it's a ton. It's enough for all of us. I think in Gwinnett County, which is 22 high schools, I think they signed 127 kids. And I'm talking about all divisions, but that's a lot of kids and a lot of football, and that's just in Gwinnett County. You got Cobb County, you got Fulton, you got DeKalb. So there's so many schools down there and so many players down there per capita, and they're very well coached. I love the product that we get from down there. The schools are really, really good academically. So it kind of fits the bill of what we're trying to do here of just, again, academically motivated kids, tough kids that again, want to be great from great programs.
Did you hold any scholarships? Are you where you at right now as far as that?
Always. Always, And really, I'm not, we really don't hold them for, per se, guys who come afterwards. Although we've had some kids that came over the summer, in the history of this place. I think Julian Edelman came over the summer. Spencer Keith came, over the summer. Raquan James came over the summer for us, who's been a very good player, but also for our own guys. Some of our walk-on kids that deserve scholarships, that have been in the program for 2 or 3 years or 3 or 4 years, to also reward them also too. So if there is some kids that fall off, you always want to have one for them, but also for guys on our own team that deserve them.
Anything else? Thank you, everyone.
All right. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you.